Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Women Who Rock with Success, a digital media source for professional and entrepreneurial women. Did you know that we can be found on Google Play, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Sam's Broadcasting, AutoCast, and more? Women Who Rock with Success airs live each Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Time, followed by our latest brand, Women Who Rock Investigates. We handpick professional women in many areas who can provide credible information in their field to build your business and lifestyle. To learn more about us, just visit our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com.
Good morning and welcome to the broadcast on today. And so this is your host, Ms. Diane Winbush, creator and founder of Women Who Rock with Success. And so we want to get right into our topic. As we know, the COVID-19 has developed many changes for Americans and our global neighbors. And so our goal is to help corporate American women through this period in their lives with business tools and strategies to mobilize their career. So today we will be discussing and providing expertise tools in diverse areas of staffing. And one is in cast staffing for actors. The other one is in HR, and that's also in regards to polishing up your resume, making sure that you have what it needs, what you need to be able to get where you need to be as far as employee staffing is concerned. And so, and next we will be discussing also in regards to marketing, in regards to blogging. And so for that reason, we have three guests that are on our panel today. And so our first guest is COO of casting of the HOP Network, and she is also a casting director. And so that is Julia Bianco. And our next panel that we have on the show today is CEO and founder of HR Connection is Holly Noon. And our last guest on today is marketing blogging strategist Janice Walls. So good morning to all of the panel and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. Not for sure where the rest of the panel is at, but it looks like they're dropping, their call is dropping, and they're trying to get back in. But anyway, so we have Holly Noon, correct? That's you today, Holly?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. And so just tell us a little bit about you and tell us about your brand.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm the owner of HR Connection, and I'm a certified human resource professional through the Society of Human Resource Management, and I have pretty much over a decade of experience when it comes to like employee retention, hiring, job searching, recruiting, training, and then my business mainly focuses on career coaching from, resumes, interview prep, and just helping individuals create opportunities, within their job search.
Okay, great. Okay. And so what inspired you to be able to, first of all, get involved with human resources, and what, I guess, catapulted you to be able to launch the HR Connection?
Sure. So I really became passionate about human resources probably when I got into a management development program and kind of working with being mentored by like executives on, okay, this is what we're looking for in terms of employees. You need to learn HR practices. But basically I had to learn about people, collaborating, empowering them, educating them, if I'm going to be, a manager of others at some point. And from there, I realized like I had a knack for seeing someone's weaknesses and then working with them to make them, better. And so I kind of translated that in, the struggles that people have when they look for jobs. Like, hey, like they know they're a talented professional, but just writing resumes isn't their thing. So it's like, how do we, sell them on a one-page resume, because sometimes it's really hard for people to try and condense everything into one page and selling themselves. But, so that's my main goal, is to help people realize you have all the talents, but let's put it together in a nice package so you can get the job.
Exactly. So, according to Gary Burnison, who is a contributor of CNBC, his quote is, the biggest mistake that he sees people making when job hunting is, especially during the times of desperation, is limiting their strategy to only sending out as many resumes as possible and not taking a few minutes out of their day to focus on networking. So collaborate with us a little bit about that, on his quote and his stance in regards to resumes versus over to networking.
Sure, absolutely. So, I think, and I hear this all the time from clients or just even friends of mine who apply. They're like, hey, I've applied to 200 jobs. And I'm like, okay, you're more than likely not going to hear back for more than half of those. And so I always say, hey, have you tried reaching out? Have you tried doing your job search through like LinkedIn or using your network? And so what I say to them is, like, at least on LinkedIn, if you see a job post, you know who the recruiter is or the hiring manager is, and so you can reach out directly to them on that job post. And if you apply, so you're more likely to get feedback. And then also on link company you're interested in, you can find people who work a similar position you're interested in to get feedback, like, hey, what skills or experience do you have that you got this position? And just kind of network to see if maybe they might say, hey, we actually do have an opening. I'll be willing to refer you. So it's just I'm a big fan of LinkedIn and just making sure that's up to date and networking with not only people just like what companies you're interested in, but maybe people you went to school with who might be able to get you in somewhere. Because I always network with people I went to school with, and I'm like, hey, we both were in this program at the same time, and that's always like a good way to introduce yourself. Hey, I see you went here, or I see you worked here. So that's just a good way to utilize LinkedIn to kind of create more opportunities for yourself versus just applying and not really hearing back.
So in regards to networking, let's kind of, because a lot of times we can go several ways. So how effective to you with your expertise is networking in regards to, so take, for example, let's I guess kind of bring it home this way. I would always mention to individuals in the past that your business card is your appearance. It creates it creates a display of who you are, and so even how we got things structured, even on our business card tells a lot about us as well. So when we go to networking events, I'm still trying to kind of stick to this quote that the gentleman had gave on CNBC. So when we go to networking events, how does that represent our resume? Because, so take, for instance, a person can have things listed on their resume, but then when they show up for an actual engagement of network, sometimes it may not be compatible. So if I come to Holly to HR Connection, Holly sees my description on the outside, but when she picks up my resume, it is something totally different. So how important is it for us to make sure that we have the right networking skills to be able to be compatible to our resume? And I'm going to touch on that a little bit in a little bit to explain why I'm kind of going that way with that.
So, when we guess we can finally network in person again. Yeah, I think it's important that, yes, everything aligns, right? I'm a big person, and your brand needs to be consistent across, like you said, like you give me a business card, but then I look at your resume, it doesn't match. So I think one thing that people really need to be good about is being self-aware of like how they're coming off. Do you know how to give an elevator pitch? And I think some people I always am a big fan of, the one thing I do with clients is ask them to sell themselves to me in like 30 seconds. And then I compare it to their resume to say, okay, this is what you're saying, but this is not what's being presented. And so then we go through and fine tune so that when they are meeting people in person, whether at a networking event, interview, or, they can kind of utilize that pitch over and over again so it's consistent with what's on their resume, LinkedIn, in person, to bring it all home in terms of just consistency and being self-aware of how you're coming off to others.
So with a lot of millions of individuals that are in the unemployment line, they are receiving unemployment during the COVID-19 crisis and pandemic that we're kind of seeing where people are not working. How effective? Still how effective? That doesn't mean just because the people are not working don't mean they don't have any jobs. There's two different things and stuff, because sometimes more than likely people are going to be going back to work. So for the ones that have lost their jobs during the COVID-19, what would you suggest as to resume building, and where would they need to, such as HR Connection, be able to apply to make sure that they have all the criteria that they need for a good presentation?
Well, I'm a big fan of Pinterest. They have really good recommendations for what resume templates should look like, gives examples of ways to introduce yourself, how to dress for business occasions and events. I like that because it's always updating for the most current trends, which can change very rapidly from time to time. So I would say if you're currently unemployed and looking, definitely check online for those type of resources to make sure you're up to date with what the current trends are, so you're a more attractive employee. Also take advantage of free courses to maybe update your skills on your resume, since you have that time available. Also, within your network, ask for feedback on your current resume to see if people can give you tips and recommendations on how you can improve your resume. Not just, but I think sometimes getting second pair of eyes on your resume or cover letter will really give you insight on how to improve.
And so as Facebook has so many opportunities for a user. They have opportunities for individuals to brand their business. They have opportunities for an individual to market their business. So for listeners who are seeking employment, what strategies could you use, or what type of tools on Facebook could they use in order to be able to search and land that perfect job for them?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So, you could, for Facebook, I think you can always it's a good place to just market yourself. And so, you could create a post saying, hey, I'm looking for a job. So using hashtags is really important. So that way your post can trend, making sure it's public so people can share it. I've seen where people have posted their resume on Facebook, and people have made comments, and they've gotten job connections that way. They're like, hey, hit me up here, if you want to talk about a job opportunity. So I've seen that. Also, I would just say to be careful what you post on Facebook if you're looking for a job. You don't want people to find anything unfavorable. And then also companies that you're interested in working on, follow their Facebook and see if they're posting anything about jobs, because that could be a good way to reach out, and then someone can respond and directly connect, since companies are trending more towards, being more responsive on their social media.
Okay. And I think at this time we have our marketing blogging strategist, Janice Wall, that is on the call at this time. So, Janice, welcome to the show and good morning. And tell us a little bit about you and your brand.
Hi, Diane and everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm truly delighted to be here. I am Janice Wald, and I blog over at mostlyblogging.com. I'm also an ebook author. I've written an insider's guide to building a successful blog and all the Instagram tips and tricks you need to know. I've also written how to make money by blogging and varying your income stream. And as Diane mentioned, I do study marketing, and I'm delighted to be here today to offer any marketing tips I can share, especially in this COVID-19 economy.
Great. So delighted that you joined us, and we also have another guest on the panel, and that's HR Connection founder and CEO Holly Noon. So she's on the panel with you also today.
Hi.
Okay, so taken from your blog post, Janice, this question is towards you, and the title of the blog post is entitled 7 Marketing Skills to Help You in a Job. So talk to us a little bit and explain to the audience about e-marketing.
Yes, I would be happy to, and it's really very good news, and there's not a lot of good news right now in this COVID-19 economy, but yet for digital marketers, there's a lot of good news, and I'm happy to share. With your digital marketing skills, you are more than qualified to land a job in the post-COVID-19 economy, and I'll be happy to tell you why. The current supply for marketers does not meet the demand. And I have a stat here, 69% of companies hire marketers. And I'm sure you know when the supply does not meet the demand, the people in the labor force can raise their rates and really charge competitive prices for their services. And that this variety in the companies of all the digital marketing jobs that are currently available and will even be more available in the future will not change. And it's so easy to be a digital marketer. I mean, the courses are affordable. If you get certified, it boosts your income even more. And the digital marketing skills enable you to reach potential customers, through targeting. You know how to reach them on mobile, social media. And the bottom line is you just have these skills that other people don't. And if you don't want to work for a company, you can start a consulting firm. You could start your own business. The world is really your oyster currently and going forward.
Okay, wow, that is awesome. So, what is e-marketing to in regards to? Okay, so take for instance, like you're a small business owner and you're a mompreneur and what have you. You have your own market line and brand. So, in regards to staffing, what advice could you be able to give to those that employ to you that are working with you or under you as employees? Because even in the COVID-19, some people feel that they don't want to go back to the restaurant. They don't want to go back to the hamburger job. Some people that have had corporate America jobs, they're trying to flip between the fact of, look, where do I go from here? Is I'm going to get my job back, or is I'm going to be laid off, or how long is this pandemic going to last? So could you share just a few tips and tools with the employees that you have in regards to strategies that you give to them to be able to keep them mobilized and moving during all of this that is going on?
I would be happy to. If you're a business owner, there are certain skills you're going to need in your employees going forward. And I'll be happy to share a few of them. Currently, they did I think it was Forbes that reported 80% of consumers got their information through videos since we've been in COVID-19 lockdown, and that number is only going to rise. It's predicted that by 2022, 82% of all people will be getting their information through videos. And they like it. They're doing it now, and they like it, and they want to continue going forward. So the employer should make sure that their employees know how to make videos, and they're going to need those skills. And for people, like you said, that don't want to go back to the hamburger stand and so forth, once restaurants reopen, they don't have to. I mean, I would highly recommend them learning digital marketing, and that will enable them to be, in demand. I think, in life you've got to go with the flow, and right now the flow is toward online, because we've been online for 2 months and it's working, and employers see that. Brick and mortar, the days are numbered. As people see it is working online, and they don't have to go on long commutes. So if people want better opportunities once shelter in place lifts, they should definitely learn digital marketing. And in addition, the strategy is in copywriting has changed the last 2 months, because people are scared, understandably so, about COVID-19. And so marketers right now are shifting, they're pivoting from marketing approach to a customer-centered approach. So instead of, hey, this is what we have for you, this is what we want to sell you, it's, hey, how you doing? How are you? What can we do for you? And this shift toward empathy is working, and customers feel taken care of, and that the marketer, the brand, is that rock, the community leader. But not everybody knows how to write with empathy. And so not just video making skills, but copywriting that will enable people to make the consumer feel cared about, so that they'll want to purchase from the brand, I think is also important post-COVID-19.
Absolutely. So with that being said, Holly, I noticed that, with HR Connection, you have also moved to digital e-marketing as well with the company, on Instagram. So for Instagram users in the audience, kind of describe to us a little bit how effective is that going to become in regards to the information that we just got from Janice?
Oh, I definitely find it to be very beneficial using Instagram for marketing. The importance of hashtags, like I was saying earlier, so your post trend. But I've been able to connect with other HR professionals, as well as people who just wanted information on resumes, and then, other promotional opportunities, to appear on other blogs to talk about employment opportunities in HR. So, yeah, I think going to a more digital platform is really important and really advantageous at this time, since more people are at home and, in front of a computer, on their phone, tablet. So, a good time to capitalize on being more visible.
Okay, absolutely. So do you see where policies and rules may change in the workplace, in the human resource industry, due to the COVID-19? Because I know I was reading today on some articles where the justice system is even considering changing some options. I think it was Nancy Pelosi. She's thinking about changing, trying to put on the table about, the prison offenders and, how they're getting the COVID-19, and it's not their fault. It's actually the workers, the employees that are giving it to them. So they're thinking about considering it. So do you see any consideration or any upcoming policies that you feel that may change or need to change in regards to staffing?
No, absolutely. So there already have been changes. Just being a part of the Society of Human Resource Management, I get daily communications about how to manage return to work, or even allowing your staff to just work 100% remote, and what do those transitions look like? Because not everyone feels comfortable coming back to the office. And so then there adds that other layer of, okay, you can't really enforce your employees to come back, So, you have to, human resources is a big part of, okay, how do you make employees feel comfortable? Do you say just let them work from home? So there's a lot of moving factors right now as things are changing month to month. But yes, many companies, you've seen it. Twitter says they're going to let their employees work from home forever. Amazon until October. So many companies are already allowing their employees to kind of work remote until further notice, if they can. And if they can't, there's been a lot of safety initiatives put in place for those workers that do need to come back to the office. So those discussions are happening now already. So, yeah, but...
Okay, so even with that, do you see, even though we have lost a lot of Americans, we have lost a lot, but do you see the COVID-19, and this is for both of you all, for you and Janice to respond to this, you first, Holly, and then we'll let Janice respond. Do you see the COVID-19 in some instances as an advantage for those that may have small businesses at home, have, their own brand that they market or what have you, because, some conversations that I've been hearing, some people see this as an advantage. They don't see it as all bad, for business owners and entrepreneurs.
No, I definitely see it as definitely as a opportunity, as a positive. Think about you have more time to work on things you didn't have before. And so people are working on their businesses that were previously didn't have the time to do it. And then with everything kind of moving online, and things are becoming free because they just, they're just trying to be more customer focused. You can take advantage of resources like free courses, free certifications, that you can only just, if you're a business owner, add to your repertoire. So I think, I look at it as a positive. I've been able to put out more content and, these 3 months than I have in a year, just because I have more time to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, I'm like taking advantage of the more time to be able to focus on my business and other personal goals during this time.
Absolutely. So, Janice, you can respond.
Yes, I would be happy to. I think it's a benefit for everyone, small and large businesses alike. I was reading an article just yesterday where it said before COVID-19, a business, small or large, might send an employee on an airplane across the world, and they have to pay for the flight, and then they have to pay for the person to stay in a hotel for 3 days and maybe for meals and to get back. And now that they realize that their employees can video conference, they're going to be saving all that money on what they used to spend just to get the person across the world to take a meeting. And a lot of people, as Holly was saying, in the time that they're saving, not on that commute any longer, think about, all the people that would burn out and retire young for that reason, and now they're not going to burn out because they're not as tired just saving time on that commute. And as Holly said, people are using that extra time to get certified, online, and that's making them more marketable in the economy and certainly the economy to come. And even if it's just spending more quality time with their children, they don't have to retire young or, worry about burnout, trying to do too much, too little, simply by saving time on the commute. I think it's good for, I agree with you. So many people have died. It's terrible, the disease. But as far as the workforce goes, I think a lot of positives are coming out of this.
Because at first we heard of Zoom. You rarely heard of Zoom. You heard it and you didn't hear it. Now Zoom is at the top of the line as far as video, providing video conferencing and meetings and sharing other resources and tools. And so I feel that also that the small man is coming to the top. I really do. The small businesses, those that perhaps maybe get just a little visibility, get some, but, it's just like YouTube came in and it came in and came. Now YouTube is everywhere. Now it's like a big conglomerate giant, all over the world. So I feel that a lot of individuals are getting an opportunity to be able to share their brand with individuals. It's just you'll be surprised what what organization or what business can revamp themselves overnight due to a crisis. I guess I could be able to put it that way. So with that being said, this question is to Janice again. And so I think both of you all touched on the facts of certifications. And so talk to us a little bit about that and how resourceful that can be for a entrepreneur or a small business owner, and share with the audience as to what would be the best strong certifications for startup entrepreneurs as well as corporate America entrepreneurs that may be in the transition of coming from the office back to the home.
I would recommend Microsoft certification. I mean, Microsoft Windows is still pretty standard across channels, in the workforce. And I've known people who've gotten Microsoft certification, and they said it's easy and it's affordable, and it made them so much more marketable at the end of the day. And so from what I'm reading, a lot of people are also recommending becoming Microsoft certified.
Okay, great. And so with that question, Holly, Linda, I'm not for sure if you're familiar with lynda.com, which is a very, very great sourceful tool for a lot of, I think I may have taken some training on that probably about 5 or 6 years ago. So let's talk about on your side for human resources. Certification is for CDE credits. Am I saying that right? CED or something like that credits. And so a lot of times entrepreneurs are looking to become certified in their organizations, their small businesses. CEU credits, that's what it is. And so talk to us just a little bit about how important that is for entrepreneurs to be able to get that type of certification and the benefits from it.
Okay, so when it comes to certifications, whatever field you're in, so whether you're project management, you have the PMP. For me, I have the SHRM CP. For people who I know, some who are digital marketers or website designers, they might have Google certifications. But I think it's important that you follow through and complete your CEs, your continuing education credit. And when you pick classes, I think you should pick those classes that are relevant to what's trending currently or what maybe might be a weakness of yours to kind of strengthen, all areas of your business as an entrepreneur or as a professional in corporate America. So for instance, for example, for me having a human resource certification, I would pick classes that I might want to learn about, like recruiting. Okay, let me talk about employee retention or management. And I always take management courses because I always, things change. There's talks about, so that's kind of how I feel. I think when you have a certification, just pick things that are relevant, that interest you, or maybe you have a weak spot you want to work on. So, yeah, that's what I would say when it comes to certifications.
Absolutely. So, Janice, in regards to target audience, how important is that in digital marketing as to how we find our target audience? Now, and I'm going to share a real weird scenario with both you and Holly. I can recall, I think when I first got into business, I was all over the place, did not know how to use Facebook, which is a powerful tool to be able to narrow down your search and narrow down your the audience that you're looking for. So how important is it that, especially when we're on social media, to be able to narrow down the target audience and how to pitch for them?
I think it's very important, and I've published articles about the importance of finding your target market many times. I use Google Analytics to find my target audience, and like you said, once you find the target audience, then you can go to social media and try to attract those people. But Google Analytics is a free tool. Facebook, of course, is free as well. But Google Analytics is a free tool, and it's pretty easy. If some people find Google Analytics complex, but simply by clicking all the tabs on the left side of the screen, you're going to see how, for example, how the audience acquires your content, and so you're not wasting your time. It is the ROI. You're going to get good ROI, and you go there. And yes, Facebook is one of my top 3 sources of traffic, and so yes, that is a place that I would go to try to acquire my target audience, which will lead to potential conversions, of course. And other things you'll find at Google Analytics in order to find your target audience. It tells you where people are coming from. It tells you the gender. It tells you the age group. It tells you their interests. And so, for me, people are interested in marketing and search engine optimization and, social media and things that I write about. So you're really able to fine-tune your content as well as know where to go and who to try to attract when you get there. So I always start with Google Analytics when trying to attract my target audience. And from there, I go to Facebook. My top 3 sources of traffic are, according to Google Analytics, are Facebook, the question and answer site Quora, and Twitter coming in third. So because Quora doesn't really let you self-promote too often, I go to Facebook and Twitter, and yes, I am a constant presence on Quora because I do believe that going to Quora boosts your brand, and then if people are interested, they can come over. But as far as trying to attract your target audience, I always start at Google Analytics wherever I go second. I let Google Analytics guide me.
Great. So, Holly, this is a 2-part question. I know I'll be coming with some tough questions with you, but this is a 2-part question. Holly, I think this is her 5th time on the show, bringing us, real good resources for employers and employees to be able to help them to strategize their resumes as far as prepare them for the workforce place. And so in regards, we're going to talk about resumes for a few minutes, and then we're going to talk about how important it is for job seekers to make sure that they are uploading their information to the right sources. So take, for instance, Indeed and Monster and additional other platforms that are online. And I think it's another one where it's like internship.com as well. They have all ways that you can be able to submit your resume, all of your information, your phone number, and what have you. And sometimes there are risks that individuals can run into scams. So talk to us a little bit about that as to how important that we research the business of where we're uploading our information to, and how Indeed should be protecting our information when we're sharing all of that important, resources that we have to these platforms.
So the first part is, when you're doing your research, it's really important that when you submit your application, you kind of check to see where you're actually submitting it. So are you going to go to an online portal that the company has and you're going to enter your information and submit it? if it's just an email, check the email. I always go to if it's just like an email, like for some recruiter, I'll go to the company's website and try to see if I can get, if it's like a small company, you know, who's on staff, who's the HR person. Because it's like, for me, if the HR person is so-and-so, but the email is something else, I would probably contact the HR manager just to confirm, hey, is this your recruiting email? Is it not? But that's kind of how I would say, just to make sure when you submit your information. Also, when you do your resume, I highly recommend do not put your full address. I always say just put like a city and state, so that way they don't have your address, your phone number, and your first and last name, you know, just being out there on the internet. And then Indeed, you know, they have a lot of disclaimers and privacy notifications on there. And just make sure, if you are one to, especially on Indeed, put your resume public so people can find you, I would just minimize what personal information you let available, which you can update in the settings on Indeed. So not anybody can search for you and have access to your personal information. So that is something I always correctly, so people can't just call me randomly and send me emails for bogus jobs.
Absolutely. So a lot of times in the past, in some individuals that are applicants that are seeking employment, even today, they are not aware as to how to address individuals if they're trying to send them a proposal for a job or position that perhaps may be open online. In your experience, you know, from your organization and company, how would the applicant, find out who to address? So take, for instance, they got their resume prepared, and so the next thing they're trying to figure out who I need to address this to, because sometimes, you know, they used to say it years ago, you can put dear sir, dear ma'am. Today, that's like an offense to individuals. It agitates certain. It does. From the information that I have retrieved from individuals that have been on the show, that agitates the HR when you don't address them. And sometimes individuals will say, "Well, you can call to the job," and then sometimes that will infuse them even the more. So take us through just a little. It will take us through a little step as to how applicants can be able to address themselves professionally through a resume, where they can be able to obtain the HR or the right specific individual who to address on the resume itself.
Okay, so typically when you're like submitting it, I say to whom it may concern. That's just kind of a good blanket statement, or attention hiring team, you know, because you don't know who's hiring. It could be just one person or it could be multiple. And also a lot of larger companies are using third parties to do the screening now. So even if you do get in contact with someone, they're going to give you like a 1-800 number, and then you have to call and they'll tell you what the status is. So they are kind of adding layers to the contact because, you know, unfortunately, HR doesn't have time to give denials or feedback on everybody who applies to a position. So a lot of companies have gone to the third-party resources to do it. You know, and that's even been my personal experience. Like, I wanted to check up on an application, and I called a 1-800 number, and they're like, yeah, so this is the status. It's still under review, and we'll pass your message to the hiring manager, who may get back to you. But that's why I was going back to LinkedIn is important, because typically if that job's on Indeed, it's on LinkedIn too, because they push that job to multiple platforms. And on LinkedIn, they typically put who the hiring person is to contact. So that is a good way to reach out to get in contact with the person who's hiring. And then LinkedIn is great because they have like as you start typing, it will kind of auto-generate like a response for you. Hey, such and such, and then, you know, it will kind of say, do you want to say this next? You know? So, I mean, that's why I'm saying LinkedIn's a really good tool if you want to reach the hiring person direct. Because in my experience, I've applied to 2 places and gotten it's been easier to get a response from LinkedIn than applying through like Indeed. So that's why I push LinkedIn a lot.
Yeah, now that is awesome. That is awesome. And so that is a very, very powerful tool and strategy for the audience because like I stated before, years ago, you could, they would perhaps maybe let you put down dear ma'am, dear sir, or what have you. But today it's no. They will not allow that. So thank you for that, Holly, so much for the listeners. So with the last question to both of you, starting with Janice, tell us what you would like to leave in regards to digital marketing, as in regards to your brand and product and services that you offer. Tell us some tips that you would like to leave with us.
Oh, absolutely. As far as what my brand offers personally, I didn't mention this when I introduced myself, but I am the co-founder of a school that will give people marketing skills so that they can get a jump ahead of people in the post-COVID-19 economy. And the name of my academy is Mostly Blogging Academy. And we offer the skills that I mentioned, the search engine marketing skills that you could offer future employers so that you can get a jump ahead and say to them, based on the course I took at the Mostly Blogging Academy, I now know how to target the audience for you. I now know how to get you ahead in the Google search engine results pages. So we teach people marketable skills at the Mostly Blogging Academy. In addition, I am a coach. So if people need these search engine marketing skills and they want more one-on-one intensive training, I offer that as well. And as I mentioned, when I introduced myself, I do offer ebooks, and those are available at Amazon.com. Just look up Janice Wald Books, and you'll find them.
Great. Holly?
So if anyone wants any more information on my career coaching or resume services, they can catch me at www.hrconnection.llc, or they can find me on Facebook at HR Connection LLC, and they'll see where I post resume examples, HR tips, and videos on how to live with employment strategies.
Absolutely. So, ladies, we thank you for being our guest today on the panel, and thank the listeners for being here with us on today as well. And to recoup and recover what we just discussed, we were giving information and tools and resources out to the audience in regards to staffing, employees, resumes, digital marketing, and we just was able to receive so much from two guests, and we really appreciate your time and opportunity on today. So for all upcoming events, of course, go to our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com. And until the next time, you be safe and be careful. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you so much, Diane.
Bye.